You know that feeling when you walk into a room and suddenly feel like, maybe everyone's looking at you,
Hmm.
or you replay a conversation later, just wishing you'd said something, yeah, different.
Oh, definitely. That's classic.
Well, today we're diving deep into social awkwardness, that whole feeling of being uneasy or just out of sync in social situations, and it can range, right, from just slight nerves to something much more intense.
Exactly. And for this exploration, we've pulled together quite a range of insights, actually. We've looked at articles on journal prompts, how exercise can surprisingly help, um, practical ways to build confidence.
Body language too, right?
Yeah, body language, what people are actually saying on places like Reddit, expert advice on overcoming these feelings, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and even how our beliefs about emotions play a role.
So our mission here really is to take all these different perspectives and connect them, find the practical, actionable things you can use.
Right, to help you not just understand those awkward moments, but actually navigate them better, build more confidence, find better connections.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. When we talk about social awkwardness, what does that actually mean? How is it different from, say, social anxiety?
That's a really key distinction to make early on. Our sources point out that social anxiety, sometimes called social phobia, is this really intense fear. Fear of social situations, fear of being judged, scrutinized.
Like being under a microscope.
Sort of, yeah. It leads to this significant worry about potential embarrassment or humiliation. You might get those physical symptoms we associate with anxiety, racing, heart, sweating, can't concentrate. But the trigger is specifically social. It's about interacting with others.
And it sounds like it's more than just a fleeting thing. One source mentioned it can really stick around and lead to bigger problems.
Absolutely. If it's not addressed, it can unfortunately lead to isolation, even depression sometimes, and definitely chip away at self-worth. And it can persist because of those ingrained thought patterns and avoidance behaviors that develop. You avoid situations, so you never learn they might be okay.
Okay. But social awkwardness, that's not necessarily the full-blown disorder.
Correct. That's an important clarification from our sources. Social awkwardness is broader. It's more about difficulty communicating smoothly, feeling uncertain about what to say or do, maybe avoiding eye contact, having some physical symptoms too. They can overlap, for sure, but awkwardness itself isn't always a disorder.
So where does that feeling, that awkwardness, actually come from then? It feels like it just pops up sometimes.
Well, the sources suggest quite a few potential routes. It could be related to introversion, needing alone time to recharge, or it could be linked to social anxiety itself.
Makes sense.
But also things like overthinking conversations afterwards, striving for perfection, maybe difficult childhood stuff like bullying, even imposter syndrome, feeling like a fraud,
Imposter syndrome.
for shyness, even how much time we spend on social media. And one source specifically mentioned neurodivergence. Some people just socialize differently, and that's okay, but it might not fit the typical mold.
Wow, okay. So it's really a mix of potential factors. Now, one thing that came up strongly was journaling. How can writing things down actually help with something that happens out there in social situations?
It seems counterintuitive, maybe, but journaling provides, as one article put it, a private and judgment-free zone. It's a space just for you to really dig into your thoughts and feelings about social stuff.
Like a personal lab for your brain.
Kind of. It's a tool for self-discovery. Writing things down helps you untangle those complicated feelings, challenge beliefs that might be holding you back, like everyone thinks I'm boring, and build a sense of empowerment. You get to see it on paper.
Okay, so you get it out of your head. How does that actually make you feel less awkward when you're, say, at a party?
Well, the source broke it down. First, self-awareness. Journaling helps you spot patterns, triggers what sets off the anxiety, and the underlying beliefs driving it.
Ah, okay. Identifying the enemy, so to speak.
Exactly. Second, it's an emotional release. Just getting those feelings out can lessen their weight, give you some perspective. It's cathartic.
Right, sometimes just naming the fear helps. What else?
It lets you challenge negative thoughts more objectively. You can see them written down and ask, is this really true? You can identify those cognitive distortions, those mental traps, like assuming the worst and consciously try to reframe them.
Like fact-checking your own brain.
Pretty much. And reflecting on past situations lets you figure out what coping strategies actually worked or what you could try next time. And really importantly, it helps build self-compassion. It's a space to be kind to yourself, countering that harsh inner critic.
That sounds incredibly useful.
Hmm.
The article had some specific prompts too, didn't it? Any standouts for social anxiety?
Yeah, there were some great ones like write a letter to your younger self, offering advice and support about social fears. That can be really powerful.
Oh, I like that.
Or imagine a world without social anxiety. How would your life be different? That helps visualize possibilities. Another good one. Reflect on a recent triggering situation. What happened? How did you feel? How might you respond differently next time? It's all about learning.
Those are brilliant. It really guides you to think constructively. Okay, so that's the internal work. What about practical stuff? In the moment strategies for building confidence, better social skills.
Several sources hit on this. One key idea was owning your awkwardness.
Owning it. How?
Basically, embracing imperfections. Trying to be perfect is stressful and often less relatable. One article had a funny story about someone finding lipstick on their teeth and just laughing about it broke the ice. The point is, those little quirks can actually make you more human.
Huh. Yeah, that takes the pressure off immediately. What else?
Another big one. Stop waiting for permission. Confidence isn't about waiting for someone to say you belong. It's deciding you do belong, that you bring value, just stepping in.
So acting as if, almost?
In a way, yes. And related to that is confidence through action. You don't always feel confident then act. Often you act first, even if it's scary. And the confidence follows from those small wins. Pushing your comfort zone a little builds proof for yourself.
Little by little. Face the fear and do it anyway kind of thing.
Exactly. Then there's being your own hype person. Actively turning up the volume on your inner encourager. Maybe even write down your achievements to remind yourself when doubt creeps in.
Yeah, combat that inner critic.
And finally, surround yourself with confidence builders. Seek out supportive people who lift you up, not those who make you feel small. Your environment matters.
Absolutely. Who you hang out with makes a huge difference. Okay, let's talk body language. How can we use our bodies to feel and maybe look more confident?
Right, this came up a lot. Maintaining an open posture is key, standing tall, arms uncrossed, facing people. It signals openness, but it can also trick your brain into feeling a bit more confident.
The power pose idea.
Sort of, yeah. And eye contact, not staring, but aiming for maybe 70% contact during a conversation shows you're engaged and respectful.
Okay, 70%. Noted.
Subtle mirroring, gently matching someone's posture or gestures can build rapport without you even realizing it. Nodding shows active listening. A genuine smile, of course, conveys warmth.
What about voice?
Interestingly, slightly lowering your voice pitch naturally, not force, can project confidence. Using natural hand gestures helps too, makes communication more dynamic. And just being present, not lost in your head, but actually there in the moment, shows you value the interaction.
It's amazing how much we say without words. Now, for the really tricky part, for some, actually doing the social interaction, starting conversations, keeping them going. Any tips from the sources?
Practice was the big theme here. Start small, really small, low-stakes interactions. Chatting with the cashier, saying hi to a neighbor, asking someone for directions.
Taking the pressure off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And find activities based on your interests, hobby groups, game nights, whatever. It gives you a built-in topic and shared interests. The advice was generally, don't worry about impressing people, just be yourself.
Easier said than done sometimes, but good advice. What about conversation skills themselves?
Yeah, one guide broke down small talk as like a call and response game. Don't overthink it, match the other person's general tone, keep topics appropriate for the setting, try to stay on topic mostly, but know how to transition smoothly if needed.
And listening is key.
Huge. Active listening. Maybe pause just a beat before responding to show you've taken it in. Don't dominate the chat. Watch for signs if the other person is losing interest. Avoid offensive stuff, obviously. And if an awkward moment does happen, acknowledge it briefly, maybe laugh it off and move on. Don't dwell. Pay attention to their body language and cues to gauge comfort levels. It was interesting seeing on Reddit, lots of people struggle specifically with just starting the conversation.
Yeah, that first step can be the hardest. These tips help break it down. What about specific situations like gym anxiety? That came up.
Ah, yes, the gym. Common source of anxiety. The tips were pretty practical. Try going during off-peak hours when it's quieter, feels less overwhelming.
Good idea.
And maybe arrive a bit earlier first few times. Get familiar with the space, the equipment, before it gets busy. Just reduces that initial feeling of being lost.
Simple but smart. Okay, shifting slightly exercise itself. How can physical activity actually help with social anxiety?
Well, it's interesting because the physical symptoms of social anxiety, the racing heart, the sweating, trouble breathing, overlap a lot with general anxiety symptoms.
Right, makes sense.
And exercise is well known for reducing those general anxiety symptoms. So the logic follows that it can help lessen the physical side of social anxiety too. It helps regulate your body's stress response.
Another reason to get moving then.
Okay, now for a more structured approach. We mentioned cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Can you give us a quick rundown of what that is?
Sure, CBT is basically a structured, goal-oriented therapy. It focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors that fuel anxiety.
So it tackles both thoughts and actions.
Exactly. The core idea is that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all linked. Change one, and you can influence the others. With social anxiety, CBT helps you spot and challenge those unhelpful thoughts like, I'm going to make a fool of myself.
Those cognitive distortions you mentioned earlier.
Precisely. It also uses exposure therapy, gradually facing feared social situations in a safe, planned way. Plus, behavioral activation getting you to do meaningful things even if you don't feel like it. And learning relaxation techniques to manage the physical symptoms when they flare up.
And it works. Research shows it's very effective for social anxiety disorder. It builds confidence in interactions and reduces avoidance. And crucially, it gives you skills for the long term to manage things yourself and prevent relapse.
So it's empowering, gives you tools. Now, this idea of emotion mindsets was fascinating. What's that about?
Yeah, this is about our basic beliefs about emotions themselves. Do we see them as fixed and uncontrollable, or as something we can learn to manage and influence?
Like, are you stuck with the emotions you have, or can you work with them?
Exactly. A fixed emotion mindset is the belief that they're largely beyond your control. A growth emotion mindset is the belief that you can learn strategies to manage them, that they can change with effort.
And our mindset here actually matters.
It seems to, yes. Research links a growth emotion mindset with lower levels of depression. People with this mindset are more likely to dig into why they feel a negative emotion, try to see things differently, understand other perspectives. They engage with the emotion constructively.
Whereas a fixed mindset might lead to,
Maybe trying to just suppress emotions, pretend you're fine, which isn't always healthy long term. A growth mindset also helps you view setbacks like an awkward social moment, not as proof you're hopeless, but as a chance to learn and improve.
so believing you can change how you handle emotions actually helps you do it. It motivates you to try those strategies, like the ones in CBT.
Precisely. It encourages engagement rather than avoidance or resignation. It's not a magic cure, but it fosters a more proactive and self-compassionate approach.
Okay, this is all incredibly helpful. Let's try and pull it all together. Based on everything, journaling, confidence tips, body language, CBT, mindsets, what are the key takeaways for actually overcoming social awkwardness?
Well, a good starting point is reflection. Understand your discomfort.
Hmm.
Is it fear, past stuff, introversion, anxiety? And be kind to yourself through that. Self-compassion is vital.
Right, don't beat yourself up for feeling awkward.
Definitely not. Then, practically, lead with curiosity when meeting people. Have a few open-ended questions ready. Pay attention to your body language. Aim for openness. Practice active listening. Don't interrupt. Show you're engaged.
Small steps?
Small steps. Learn relaxation techniques for the physical side. Practice small talk. It's a skill like any other. Be patient. This takes time. Challenge negative self-talk consciously. Ask yourself if perfectionism is playing a role. Are your standards too high?
That's a big one for many people.
It is.
So-
Try mindfulness to stay present. Ask trusted people for feedback or advice. Consider formal help if needed, classes, coaching, therapy, and ultimately work towards self-acceptance, quirks and all. And remember, if you're neurodivergent, find strategies and environments that work for you.
It really paints a picture of a journey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Self-awareness, practice, kindness to yourself. It's not about flipping a switch, but making gradual progress.
Exactly. Small, consistent steps really do add up, whether it's 5 minutes of journaling, trying one new body language tip, challenging one negative thought. It all contributes to growth.
That feels much more manageable. So as we wrap up this deep dive, a final thought for everyone listening, consider one small action you could take today. Just one thing, even if it feels a tiny bit uncomfortable, to step towards greater social ease. What might that first step reveal about your own capacity for growth?